You have nothing to hide, and you have nothing to hide from. Spirit is telling me you have nothing to hide, and you have nothing to hide from. If you've been here with me on this channel for a minute, you will know that I have mostly been posting audio messages. And for whatever reason, today, Spirit said, you need to get on camera. You need to be seen. There's nothing to hide, and there's nothing to hide from. And I heard the message and I just sat down. I'm literally in like my favorite tank top that's like full of holes because it's so well loved, but it's comfortable and it's my favorite. And my hair is kind of wild and kind of a mess. And I've put like no thought into really planning what I'm going to say or taking any care of how I appear. I'm just showing up here because Spirit is saying that we have nothing to hide and we have nothing to hide from. What I'm hearing now is the message that you are ready, and your readiness that's so funny. I'm looking out my window and there are some maintenance workers from my building who are like walking out in front of my patio. And this part of me internally got a little nervous, like, oh no, someone is watching me as I'm recording myself talking to the camera. I'm being seen. Oh no. And isn't that exactly it? Once we actually start living in our authenticity and showing up and being seen, people are going to see us. And we're ready. Even if there's that little tinge, that little voice in you that says, oh no, visibility. Oh no, being perceived. You can feel that, but you can also feel your readiness. I know you feel it. Your readiness is to both receive and be received. You are ready to receive and you are ready to be received. And let's start by talking about your readiness to receive, and then we'll move into your readiness to be received. You are in a place now where the things that you used to want or need, the things that you were maybe trying to manifest in the past, you don't really feel like you want or need those things anymore. And that is exactly how you know you are ready to receive them, when you no longer feel like you want or need them. You're not relating to those areas of your life from a place of lack, from a place of longing, or feeling like you have to have something to fill a void inside of you. You are already full of yourself. If you were here for my previous message, you know what I mean when I say that you are full of yourself. And if you haven't listened to that one and this is resonating for you so far, I highly suggest you go back and listen to that one. You're so full of yourself that you're not needing or wanting anything outside of you to take up space, to fill in what feels like emptiness inside of you. And now that you no longer need or want that, you're actually ready to receive, not because there's something that you're lacking, but because there is a lot that is yours that's ready to come through for you. And when you're in this place of not being in desire or desperation, but just being in receptivity and trust, that is what actually opens the energetic gateway for what's yours to come through. And I'm hearing now that your readiness to receive does not mean that it requires perfection of you. That's very important. You are likely someone who has put a lot of pressure on yourself in the past around perfection. And maybe this has even shown up in how you have approached healing, how you've approached spirituality, how you have approached your own awakening to the truth of who you are and to the truth of who we are. Your readiness does not equal perfection. What this means is that you're still going to have moments where remnants of old limiting beliefs, old trauma responses, old looping stories that you know are not true, are not real, are not actually you, and that you have done all of this amazing work to meet and to face with love and to transmute and release, they're going to come up from time to time. You witnessed it happen with me just now, right? I got on camera, I started talking, and I saw people passing by, and immediately there was a part of me that wanted to shrink. A part of me that thought, oh no, people are seeing me trying. And isn't that bad? Isn't that wrong? Isn't that a shameful thing? You're still going to have these moments where those remnants pop up. But the difference is you are not shaming yourself for the moments when those remnants creep up to the surface. You're actually recognizing them as an opportunity. You're recognizing them as an opportunity to say, look how far I've come, that I can notice this remnant of this older version of myself, this previous version who was afraid to be seen. I can feel that coming up. I can notice it, and I can meet it with love. I can remember that it's not true, and I can recenter and reorient myself in alignment with what is true, which is who you're here to be, how you're here to be received. It's not about perfection. It is about allowing those moments where you notice the old narratives, the old stories, the old patterns coming up, noticing how faint they feel, noticing how quiet they feel, noticing how they're not actually taking up your entire system now, noticing how they feel like just an echo from the past and not like what's actually moving through your system. Letting that be a marker of progress, allowing yourself to celebrate that and to celebrate your return to the truth. You know how in meditation, for those of you who meditate, when you're learning how to meditate, one of the things that folks will tell you is it's not about not thinking, because that's actually not possible for the brain. It's not the goal that we ought to be trying to attain. We certainly can get into deep meditative states where we're not actually in our thoughts. But the goal is to just be able to notice that we're thinking and then return to awareness. That thoughts can be a thing that we notice rather than a thing that we actually think is us. We think our thoughts are us, they're not. And meditation is the practice that allows us to recognize thinking is a thing that's happening, but it's not actually me. Let me return back to me, which is the awareness of the thought, right? It's the same thing as you are in this new phase of readiness. In this new phase of readiness, you are aware that you are going to still have echoes and remnants of the old thought patterns, but you know that you aren't those patterns, and you know that you can notice them without judgment, notice them without shame. They can come up, and you don't shame yourself for their presence, and you can return back to the truth. You can reorient yourself to your center. That's a really big shift. You can feel how much you have fundamentally shifted internally. This is just evidence of that. Not the perfection, but the awareness and the return back to center. This is a marker of how much more you are now. The other thing that's coming through for me is around value. One of the other markers of your readiness to receive is that you have learned that you are deeply, inherently valuable. And you're not valuable because you have earned anything. You used to be a person who felt like you had to earn love, who felt like you had to earn connection, who felt like you had to earn safety, earn being resourced and supported. You know now that your value doesn't lie in anything that you earn. It lies in your being exactly who you are. And you are aware that this is true, not just for you, but for, of course, all beings. The thing is that you've always known that this was true for all beings. You've always carried that awareness inside of you that we as all beings are inherently valuable, inherently worthy. You've been able to feel that and reflect that back to other people for most, if not all, of your life. But you haven't always been able to feel that internally. You haven't always been able to feel that about yourself. Somehow it felt like everyone else was inherently valuable except you. You no longer feel that way. You are actually in touch with your inherent value now. And because you are in touch with your value, you are actually energetically signaling capacity to receive what you're ready for, to receive what is yours. There's also something coming through about your ability to now be comfortable in the unknown. And this is a big one. I know that you are someone who in the past has felt a lot of discomfort when you didn't know what was going to happen. A lot of discomfort in not knowing exactly what the next steps were, exactly what was going to come through for you and how, exactly what it was all going to play out like. The unknown felt like a threat to your nervous system in the past. You are now someone who is able to feel steady and safe even when you don't know what's happening, even when you don't have it all figured out. And this is because you have learned that you can trust yourself with yourself no matter what happens. This is also a signal of your readiness to receive. You're ready to receive because you're not actually attached to any one specific outcome. You are feeling for resonance and alignment and allowing that to orient you, but you're also open to the reality that you don't know. And you're not lacking in self-trust because you don't know. You're actually deepening in your self-trust in not knowing. Your self-trust is what allows you to be safe in surrendering to the unknown. And that openness, that posture of surrender is a marker of your readiness to receive. There was an image that came through for me before I sat down to record, and I want to make sure that I don't miss it. I want to make sure that I share it with as much specificity as I can. I've shared this before in previous messages. I'm typically much more of a clairaudient and clairsentient and sometimes claircognizant oracle, but every now and then I do get visions. I do have a little bit of clairvoyance that comes through. And so the image that I saw was a room full of people. It looked like a really big, like, conference room or something. Everyone was sitting around on the floor, and the room was full of people. It was packed. And the image I saw was someone holding up a bullhorn and like yelling through the bullhorn, trying to be heard in this room full of people. But the people in the room were chatting with each other. They were not paying attention, even though this person was basically screaming through a bullhorn. But then they set the bullhorn down and they got quiet and they started speaking just from the heart, just like this, like person to person, very intimately. And everyone got quiet and everyone started hanging on their every word. I think this image is also signaling your readiness to be received. We talked a little bit about your readiness to receive. I think this image is signaling your readiness to be received. And the readiness lies in your recognition that you no longer have to fight to be heard. Maybe that's something that you experienced in the past, this feeling like it was really difficult for you to make yourself heard or to take up space, and that even when it felt like you were yelling, people weren't hearing you. You don't have to fight to be heard anymore. You don't have to try to be louder than the voices around you. You don't have to try to fight to cut through the noise. In fact, that actually hinders your ability to be heard, to be seen, to be received, to have impact. Your impact doesn't come from how loud you are. That's true for some people, right? And there's no value judgment there. There are some people who are here to be really fucking loud. There are people who are here to yell and to be heard because their voice is loud. You are here to be received in your ability to connect through the heart, in your ability to connect through softness and through intimacy, through relating to people as though it's just you and them in that room. You know, that you can be in a room full of people, but everyone in that room feels like it's just you and them when you are speaking from your center, from your heart. And that's how you are here to be received. Spirit is saying if you find yourself in an environment or a situation where you feel like you have to fight to be heard, that's probably not the environment for you. If you find yourself in any kind of situation or encounter or connection where you feel like you're straining or forcing to try to get what you have to express out into the space to be felt, that's probably not the space for you. Any space that is for you is a space where you can just speak as you are, as yourself, from your heart, from your softness, and that will have the greatest possible impact. Hmm. What I also heard just now is that this image of you in this room full of people and people hanging on to your every word when you get quiet. This is a quality that you are meant to offer to the world, to the collective, whatever that looks like for you, this quality of what it means to get quiet, to go inside, to connect from the heart, and then to relate and express from that place. There are a lot of people yelling in the world right now. Some of those people are yelling with good reason. Some of those people are yelling maybe because that's how they've learned how to be heard. Some of those people are yelling to deliberately drown out the voices of people like you that we really need. You are meant to be in rooms where you have impact, but your impact doesn't come by force. You have a different way of having impact that doesn't map onto the systems of power over and domination and hierarchy that we have been conditioned into. It maps onto a different way of knowing, a different way of being, a different way of expressing that is rising collectively. This return to the heart, this return to softness, this return to intimacy. This is a large part of what you are here to share and what the world is ready to receive from you. So, as you start to move out into the world more, as you start to be received more, just know that you have support. Know that you have support from people in your life, and that you also have support from your ancestors and your spirit team, because they also know how much what you have to share is not just ready to be received, but also necessary to be received right now. The last thing that's coming through is when you start to be received more, you might notice that you end up in rooms that you didn't anticipate you would be in. You might notice that you end up in rooms with people who have been um, placed on a pedestal because of some status or visibility or conventional success that they have achieved. Your readiness to both receive and be received is also evidenced by the fact that you are a person who knows how to take those people down from the pedestal and view them as human, relate to them as human, perceive, receive, connect with them as being just as human as you, just as human as every other human on the planet. And this is something that folks who have been pedestalized in that false reality that is crumbling, many of them are actually craving at this time. Many of them are quite burnt out and disillusioned with the roles they have had to play being up on that pedestal, having the success, having the visibility, having the status, and they are much more interested right now in being human, returning to their humanity, learning that they can come down from the pedestal and be met and felt from the heart. You are a person who knows how to offer that. And so you might find that whatever circles you move in, whatever spheres you're in, whatever spaces you navigate and do your work in the world in, regardless of the scale of visibility or status, that the folks within those spaces who maybe have that status and visibility will be drawn to you because of your ability to relate from this place, to get quiet and connect from the heart. It's a quality that they are hoping to return to in themselves, and that they are ready to receive from you, just like everyone is, just like the world is. But you might notice it happening specifically with the people who have held some power or status in the spaces you move through. I think that's it. I think that's everything that wants to come through. To wrap it all up, to summarize it, the thread of this message from Spirit is that you are ready. You are ready to receive, and you are ready to be received. And it's in your showing up as you are, your authenticity, your ability to say to yourself that you have nothing to hide and nothing to hide from, that everything that is yours is being magnetized to you. It's being magnetized to you because you know that you don't lack anything inside of yourself. You're not grasping for anything outside of yourself. There's no sense of desire or desperation. There is openness and surrender. And from that space, you're drawing to you what's yours, what's in alignment, what you're ready for. And when you express from that space, you are drawing to you all of the folks who are ready to receive what you have to share. Your value is immeasurable, and so is the impact that you are here to have. And I'm really happy to be able to share these reminders from Spirit with you about your readiness. I love you, and we'll talk soon.